This is what you've got to understand.
Jesus Christ is two entities.
Yes, he is human and divine.
Okay.
Two entities.
Two separate wills?
Now let me break down. Can I respond now?
That's fine.
No, I want to go right.
We didn't
Now,
address it.
no, we were talking about, first of all,
let's go back to the jinn then, yeah?
we're talking about the jinn,
Yep.
and I was trying to bring out a parallel.
Yep.
According to Islamic understanding,
In order for
where
me
you
to
can,
understand,
where you can have
Yep.
a person, a human being, who's
Yep.
standing there, and unseen to the eye, there can
Yep.
be a spirit dwelling in that person who is influencing this person.
Yep.
So you see one shell of a human being.
Yep.
And this spirit that influences him may influence him according to its own will to do certain things and say certain
Are we
things.
talking about jinns right now? Just to clarify.
We're talking about jinn.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when they enter the human creation,
yeah. So
you
when
can
they
influence him,
yeah.
yeah?
So what I'm saying, let's say what's your name?
My name is Osama.
Osama. It's
Yeah.
Colin.
That's
God
it.
bless you. So let's say Osama is jinn possessed.
Okay.
Please God, that will never happen. Okay.
God forbid, yeah.
He's jinn possessed. Now the jinn is inspiring him to say something to me.
Okay, out of my own will,
Okay,
yeah? Out of my own will.
No, you don't have a choice.
Okay.
He's
He influences
he's influencing your will
Okay.
to make a really blasphemous statement to me.
Is the jinn all powerful?
No, hang on. We're first of all establishing. No, don't jump. Let me speak. Let me
I'll
speak.
speak,
No,
but we have to establish the
First of all,
Colin, we have to
whether
respect
the jinn is all powerful or not is not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is it possible for something that seems to be a singular person to have a hidden spiritual influence that may influence the things he says, but when it doesn't, you're back to being who you normally are and you're talking normally.
That's
But
the
then when the
question.
jinn,
Yeah.
hang on, but when the jinn wants you to speak
Yep.
on its behalf,
Yep.
he can make you do this,
Okay.
and when he doesn't, he won't.
Okay.
So according to your own understanding of a spirit dwelling in a human body, is exactly my back to you is how the divine and the human nature of Jesus Christ can coexist in exactly that same analogy.
Can I respond to that?
Of course
now,
you can,
So
yeah.
I'm going to go back to the jinn topic because I believe it's really important
Yeah.
for you to understand that these comparisons cannot be used. Absolutely not. You cannot compare jinn and God. And the reason being is because we can agree that jinn is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Yeah.
just like humans are. So if a jinn possesses a human individual, he can only do so from his limited capability. We can also, for example, doing ruqya, we can get rid of that jinn. Therefore, that jinn does not have the same power or influence as you.
I agree,
But when it comes
100%.
to the attribute of God being into a human baby, we
Yeah.
have to understand what we're talking about is God. When we establish what God is, we understand God from his attributes. So we know that God is all powerful, he's the most high, and he's perfection. So these are the attributes that we affirm with God. When it comes to the human being, we also agree that a human being is imperfect. Yeah, he does not have the attributes of being all powerful, he does not have the attribute of being almighty. So these are the principles that we both agree upon. So what I'm trying to do is understand these two natures and see if it actually makes sense, if it's tangible.
May I?
So wait, just please let me finish. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
I want you to not use a jinn example because
Yeah.
it's not a good analogy.
Right.
What
Could
we
I
should
just
do-
say one thing? Because
Oh,
I find
yeah.
at my age hard to follow a series
Yep.
of statements that you make coming to a conclusion.
Okay.
And it would help me if we could slice the cake up a bit, because otherwise I won't be able to give you
So-
an answer necessarily
So
to
I'll do
what
is-
you're asking.
What I'll do is just so I can mention the point and
Please.
then let's link it to that point
Sure
only
thing,
in
yeah.
order for you to not become
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is that when a human God, the most powerful, the most high, the perfect, we have to agree that God by nature is perfect.
Of course.
When he entered into his creation, either he diminishes attributes and he does not become God, or when he becomes a human baby, we have to conceive that entity that you're talking about
Right.
is perfect, but at the same time is not perfect. So what I'm saying to you is that we agree right now when God has an attribute of perfection
Yeah.
and has an attribute of imperfection, that is contradictory by nature.
Oh, right.
That goes against God's nature.
See if I understand that. You're saying
Yep.
that God can't enter into creation because it limits his perfection. Is that what you said?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So you're saying that God has never entered into creation.
If God entered, okay, let's break this down. Yeah, you're saying God.
Right,
do we agree that God is bigger than His creation?
When you say bigger than his creation, see, Shamsi would have said the same thing, like God can't get in a small space, i.e. you can shut a door and keep God out of. No, God transcends creation and his power maintains every molecule and atom. And we can't separate his person from his presence.
Okay.
This is what Jews and Christians
so you would
believe.
disagree that God is bigger than His creation?
When you say bigger,
Yeah.
creation exists in God. That's what I'm
do we
saying.
agree that God is the Most High?
First of all, God doesn't have dimensions.
Okay, wait,
This is what I want to understand.
That's
You
fine.
said to me, your
No, I
question,
don't know.
let me
I'm
just
not-
finish.
I'm not
Your
talking about
question was,
dimensions.
is God bigger than creation?
I'm not talking about dimensions. When
All
I'm saying
right,
bigger, when I'm
okay.
saying bigger, I'm not talking about dimensions. What I'm saying to you is that God is most powerful. He's
Yes.
more stronger than his creation, and he's most high. So what I'm trying to say to you is
He's the Lord of
So
creation.
what I'm trying to say to you is, how can God enter into his creation when that creation? Yeah, how can God enter his creation when that creation is when the entity of God is bigger than the creation himself? That's but what, the point is, I think we're going to a different topic.
No. Can I hold you on that? You made a statement. You must allow me
I
to
will let you speak
respond.
if I just need to go. I will do. I just need to go back to the topic. I do apologize.
Yeah, no, but you just said something about creation, and you were using that as far as how could he be in the body of the man Jesus Christ, because it limits his perfection. And I would like to reply to what you've said.
I will let you do so, but I believe that was a side point.
Could you let me reply to a statement you made, and then we'll go back? Because otherwise you'll have had two goes.
After I finish,
you'll have had two bites.
I'm just having a conversation to be
I know, but you made a statement that I don't agree with, and I want to prove that you're wrong.
I will let you respond to your point. Just give me like at least 20 seconds to finish.
But then you'll have asked me two, and I'll forget the first one.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm just trying to make a statement right now. So
Let's hear the statement.
My statement was trying to say to you is that when God entered into his creation, therefore he limits himself, therefore his divine attributes get diminished. Once a entity's divine attributes gets diminished, that person is not the same God anymore.
Your first premise is incorrect. Now I must address it.
Just 5 seconds. Something cannot be perfect and imperfect at the same time. I would like you to address that question.
Okay, right. Can I just say this, and then Chris, you can. Right. This is a very interesting question that my friend here has raised. He made the statement that if God, the perfect God, was to enter into creation, it would limit his perfection. Now, according to Judaism, God has entered into creation on numerous times. And if we go to the Torah, right, which is the book accepted by the Jews, we can see the whole history of Judaism interspersed with series of God entering into creation for a divine purpose. So the simplest one would be, do you know what that object is? Have you ever heard it? That's the holiest object that has ever existed in Judaic history. It's called the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
And in it says, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. All right, this is what God has commanded. He also said, I will establish my abode in your midst. I will not spurn you. I'll be ever present in your midst. I will be your God. So we come from a foundation that is entirely Jewish. All the apostles were Jews. And they brought to the table a belief in God the Father and in the belief in God the Spirit. And his Spirit did enter into creation. This is why our God has the called omnipresence, which I don't think the Islamic God has.
Okay,
means that do you think God is omnipresent?
One at a time.
Yeah,
Right now you're talking about Judaism, yeah? You're going back to Jews, what they believe.
Yeah, I was trying to establish that God entered into creation.
You're saying the Jews, they believe that God entered his creation. Firstly, Jews do not believe that God became a man. Okay, we need to establish that. Wait.
First of all, no, you jumped over one. First of all, establish Jews believed that God entered creation.
You have to let me respond. Jews do not believe that God became a man, number one. So we cannot use that argument. And again, I'm trying to address one topic, but we're going to different things. I'm trying to address the topic of contradiction by nature. We agree that God can do anything that befits his nature, that befits his majesty. Okay?
And who defines the nature?
So let's understand that. Do we agree that God cannot be all-knowing and not all-knowing at the same time?
That'd be a contradiction, wouldn't it?
That's a contradiction, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So folks, that's the same thing when I'm saying when God becomes a human being, that's also a contradiction. Because when I'm saying to you is, I'm trying to address this point to you so you understand. I'm not sure if you're understanding me or not.
No, I am.
I'm trying to mention, by nature, if God by nature is perfection,
yes.
so me and you both have a common agreement that God by nature is perfection.
Of course he is.
How can that same God? How can
Yeah.
that same God not know the hour? How can the same God be imperfect?
Okay.
So now, and you also agreed.
Yeah.
You also agreed. I'm going to go back to the topic that I addressed earlier.
Right.
You agreed that Jesus, as God, he was all-knowing. I'm going to go back to the topic that I mentioned earlier.
His divinity, the divinity of Jesus Christ was all-knowing.
I believe it's really important. I believe it's important. But
Right.
if I tell you that your Bible does not say exactly what you're saying, what are you going to say to me? Because
Right.
in the Bible, when clearly a disciple asked Jesus, when is the hour, he clearly responded.
No one knows but the Father.
Not just that, he goes, neither the Son. And we can see in the Bible, when the word Son is used, that's used as Jesus and his divine, in his divine nature. When
You're going to have to substantiate what
I'll
you've just
substantiate
said.
that, absolutely no problem. In the Bible, so you can clarify for me. Let's see.
Okay, let's get the verse.
That's fine.
Let's get the
when
verse.
when the Son is mentioned in the Bible, is that referring to Jesus in his divinity?
When he says no one knows, not even the Son, that's obviously referring to his humanity.
Okay, where's the proof for that?
Because
Where's the proof
that's
for
the reason he doesn't know.
No,
Because
that's
if he
not-
said
that's
it in
not
his
proof.
divinity, he would know.
That's not the proof.
No, that is the proof.
That's not the proof.
Okay, you made a statement that Jesus Christ when he said no one knows but the hour, not even the Son, and you ask me, is this in his human nature, his divine nature? Obviously it's in his human nature, because if it was his divine nature, he would know.
No.
It's obvious.
Let me tell you why.
Can you give me the verse?
Let me tell you why.
Because you said it means something different.
Wait, let me respond to that firstly, yeah? And in the meantime, I would like you to get the verse of the all-knowing. Jesus not knowing the hour in the meantime. If you can pull the verse out, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, tell me it.
The verse where Jesus did not know the hour.
Yeah.
Is it in Matthew or is it in Mark? I'm not too sure. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make to you is Matthew, yeah? So the point I'm trying to make to you is...
tell me what your point is.
That's fine.
Because
No problem. Let me go to it. The point I'm trying to make to you is that when Jesus in the Bible clearly stated that when someone asked him about the hour, and when he clearly stated that no one in the heavens or earth, neither the Son knows the hour, that's referring to even in his divine nature. And the reason being is because he did not say that, no one knows the hour except the Father and Jesus as God. He did not say that. If he literally excludes himself and said that only the Father knows the hour, that means only the Father knows the hour. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say I know every single person's name here right now, yeah? I know your name, I know your name, I know this individual's name, but I don't know this person's name. Does that mean I'm still the same person that's all-knowing?
Okay, can I answer? Right. We're going back to the parallel with jinn, and I'll put out in a tick. I was using the parallel that in Islam they accept that a human being can be jinn possessed, and that spirit, and the jinn is a spirit, that jinn is able to influence that human being to speak and to do and say things. No, can I? Whether it is, could you let me finish? Because I don't think it is. And I'll get to the reason. No, and the reason my friend here said that it was a bad example was because how can you compare a limited jinn to the all-powerful God?
Absolutely.
I wasn't trying to compare the two. I was trying to show and reveal a very clear parallel how you can have two things coexisting in the same person where one doesn't know what the other one is saying.
One is a paradox. One is a creation entering another creation.
Okay, let's say, right, you're now jinn possessed, and I've asked you, right, the spirit of the jinn is living in you, and the spirit knows the answer to this question I'm going to ask. And you don't know the answer, only the jinn does. The parallel is so clear, it's obvious. I don't know why you don't get it.
With all due respect, I'm so surprised at using the jinn example. I'm so surprised.
What I was saying is irrelevant whether it's the all-powerful God or a jinn. It's irrelevant to the fact that two can coexist. That's my only point.
That individual is still a human being. When the jinn enters his creation, that individual is still a human being.
No, he isn't. He's a human being and a jinn.
No. He's an individual that has been possessed by the jinn.
It's jinn spirit. It's jinn spirit.
Let me respond. Another thing is, I mentioned as though early in the conversation, I'm surprised that we're mentioning it again, an individual can remove that jinn as though. God cannot remove a human, Jesus as human.
That's nothing to do with my example.
Let me respond.
It doesn't have anything to do.
Because Jesus in his human form cannot remove God from his human body. He cannot remove God from his human body. Jesus and his human form cannot remove God from his human body.
Now I know what you're not understanding. I understand.
He has no control. When I'm saying when a jinn enters his creation, that individual could do ruqya and he can cure himself, and that jinn will be removed. So your example, look, the reason why I'm being persistent, Colin, I'm being persistent. The reason why I'm being persistent,
I'll answer you. I'll tell you why I think I'm correct.
The reason why I'm being persistent with the example of a human being becoming God is because they're both contradictory by nature. You're not understanding the point. When something becomes 100% human or 100% God, that's a contradiction. When I'm saying something cannot be perfect,
Chris? Sorry, I've got something.
Cannot be perfect and imperfect at the same time.
Right.
That's an illogical fallacy.
I would challenge the assumption.
I'm speaking to you.
No, Chris can join in as well. You know what? Listen.
Because you're a rude person, he's disrespectful, and I do not want to speak to him. This individual, he's clearly said he has problems with the Bible. If you want a respectful conversation,
I probably align with him on that statement. No, as far as the Bible, no.
No, everyone spoke to him. You're just a attention seeker.
Okay. Can I just say this? Look, this is Speaker's Corner.
Didn't you say, Chris, be respectful? Remember last time? No, because you're not respectful. You're not respectful.
I was going to have a respectful conversation.
You'll never have a respectful conversation. On private, you're a really nice person. When it comes to the camera, you're a totally different person.
You literally just did exactly what you're claiming I did.
On private, he's so nice. He's so polite.
Really nice,
on camera, wait. What happened last time then? What happened last time? You changed. Just when the camera come on, you changed.
It's on video.
No. No, I don't. You're a liar. You said you have problems accepting Bible verses.
I was there.
I do. No, hang on. What was that? Problems accepting Bible verses. verses. Tell me
Colin,
more, because
we're
I
saying-
probably agree with Chris.
Let's not change the topic just because he's here.
'cause he
Let's
knows it
continue the
will probably
conversation.
No.
Let's continue the
Right,
conversation.
I'm going to say one thing now, and we'll see if we're going to continue the conversation.
let's conclude.
Because you've had a good innings, Jan. Now, this is cricket. You've been at the
I'm not
wicket
trying to
for a
do
long
that.
time.
I'm not trying to
No,
do
listen.
that.
I
You
was
entered the
not.
conversation,
I was
Colin. You
not
entered the conversation,
attempting.
not me.
No,
I
I
did not
was.
speak to you. You came to me, Colin. You came to me with
No,
the
we
topic.
were talking to somebody
I was
else.
speaking to another individual. You came and I wouldn't say interrupted, but you interjected the conversation.
No, I joined in the
Interjected,
conversation. I
interjected.
joined in.
That's fine, Colin. But I'm saying to you is that you can't just say to me, I want to speak to him. So it's up to you. Look,
No, don't make it sound like I
Colin,
bulldozed
let's
your
conclude. You're
conversation.
getting this individual in. He's a rude person. I don't want to speak to him.
getting him in? I
Respect
came
my
on my
opinion.
volition,
Respect
you
my
know.
opinion. If I don't want to speak to someone,
wanted to hear
respect
it.
my
I'm
opinion.
having this
If I want to conversate with you, that's fine.
If
Anyway,
you,
let's conclude. Let's conclude.
Let's,
Let's conclude. Let's
people
conclude.
say-
No, we'll leave it as
Yeah,
it
let's
is.
conclude,
No,
Colin,
let's
yeah?
not talk.
Let's just conclude.
Let's not
I'm
talk.
gonna just finish
No, I'm
off.
not going to conclude.
That's fine,
No,
then you can
no.
I thought you was a nice person, but if you just because this individual
No.
that's fine.
You're telling me
can go.
that he's got to go, but I want to finish the conversation with you after already telling me that I interrupted your conversation.
Interjected.
Which is
I said interjected. I didn't say interrupted. I used.
You
terminology
said I
very
came
wisely.
to you. You said you
did,
came to me.
did.
You interjected to interject.
You interjected the conversation. I had no problem with it.
Your word
I had no
interject
problem
is
with it.
incorrect.
That's fine.
I joined
To be fair,
a polite,
to be fair,
intelligent
you're not able to answer the
conversation.
question, to be fair, I've never been rude to you. I've been really nice, and I've been having a nice.
I haven't been
conversation
rude
with
to you.
Yeah, but when you're getting this
just said
individual and you're not.
Have I
respecting
been
my
rude to
opinion,
you?
If you're getting this individual
You
into
were
the
the one who was
conversation,
rude.
you're not
We
being
were
respectful.
both
Anyways,
calm,
Colin,
both
that's fine.
respectful.
To be fair, you're
You
not
were
able
the
to
one
answer the
who was
question.
rude.
I
You're not
am.
able to
I've answered it a
answer
few
something.
times. I've answered a few times that if a spirit of the jinn can enter into a body of a man, so can the spirit of God. Because the spirit of the jinn is not greater than the spirit of
You
God.
mentioned jinn again. You're really
Yeah,
persistent
it's
with the
very
jinn
important.
example.
Very
example.
important.
How
God
can
can do.
God, the
God
almighty,
can do
powerful
more than a jinn.
So God
God
can
can
eat
do
food.
far
God
more than a
can eat
jinn.
food.
If you're going to
God was a
limit
baby.
God to something that jinn can do, then we better leave the
God was a baby.
conversation.
So
Thank
God
you,
was a
Chris.
baby.
Let's go, shall we?
Absolutely ridiculous.
No, don't.
God is not a baby.
God dwelt in a baby.
God became a baby
No,
then.
God dwelt in a
God became a baby,
baby.
or was he a baby?
God dwelt.
Did he
How many
enter the
times do I
equation?
have to say it?
No, you have to answer the question. Really
The flesh of Jesus Christ came from Mary. The spirit of Jesus Christ came from God, and that's according to your own
Okay,
beliefs.
with my beliefs.
Yes,
That God became
100%.
a baby.
Allah breathed hit something of His Spirit into Mary and said,
No,
"Let
that's a
it
lie.
be."
Now you're lying.
All
Now
right.
you're lying. Wait.
What are you saying?
When
Hang
the
on.
ancient Jibreel breathed to
God.
the spirit of Mary,
No.
that's not
Wait,
God.
show me where it
Wait,
says
wait,
Jibreel.
wait,
Show me where
wait,
it says
wait, wait,
Jibreel.
wait. That is not God entering His creation.
me where it says
Colin,
Jibreel.
you've been a proven
No,
liar.
Show me where it
no.
says
You know what? No.
Show me where it says
That
Jibreel.
is a wicked lie.
Show me where it says
That
Jibreel.
is an
Very simple.
absolute
Show me where it
wicked
says
lie
Jibreel.
because
With these type
Show
of
me where it
people,
says
I'm
Jibreel.
gonna walk away.
I
Show
have
me where
got
it says
the
Jibreel.
proof.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine. What's the spirit
okay,
referring to?
here we go, here we
What's
go.
the spirit
Wait,
from
wait, wait.
Allah?
Look
What's
at
the spirit
this.
referring to?
It says spirit from Allah.
What's the spirit referring to? What's the
says
Arabic word
spirit
for it?
from Allah.
What's the Arabic word for it?
Ruh.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is that Jibreel?
What's the exact word for it? It's not just ruh. What's
Is
the
it
food word?
Jibreel?
What's the food word
Is
for
it
it?
Jibreel?
Yeah, I've got it here. I've got the verses.
There we
And
go.
Mary, daughter of Imran, whose body was chased, therefore we breathed therein something of our spirit
Yeah.
into her. Do you agree with that?
Okay,
You
wait,
said
wait.
I was a liar when I said
said
this
you were a liar.
happened. You said I was a liar
Are you
when
gonna
I
let me speak?
quoted
Are
you
gonna
your
let
own
me speak? Are you gonna let me
sources.
speak? Are you going to let me speak?
But not if you call me a liar over something that I'm
because-
telling you the
no,
truth.
You're not a sincere person. You're not a sincere person.
is like the
I'm
most
not gonna
calmest
confess-
guy in the
I'm not
car.
going to confess. I'm not going to.
You told me I lied when I said to you that the Spirit of Allah entered into Mary. You said liar.
Yes, he said lie.
You said
He
liar, and I've
liar.
just shown you
Jibreel.
it.
Yes.
And Jibreel is
Wait,
not
wait,
Jibreel.
one second. When I'm talking about angel Jibreel breathed to the spirit of Mary,
say
I'm
that.
And Mary, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her chastity, breathed into a body of our spirit.
No, I'm not going to go to translations. Let me go to it. Let me go
How
to
many
it. Let me go
translations
to
do you
it.
want? I've got
Let me go
5
to it.
translations
Let me go
that
to
say
it.
the same
if I show you
thing.
the verse, then you have to retract the statement.
No, you've
Wait for
already
me,
called
wait
me
for
a
me,
liar,
wait for me.
and I joined in a
That's
friendly
fine.
conversation, and I don't think we should carry on.
Wait.
We'll go.
Are you going to let me exactly? Why are you walking
No,
away now?
'cause you called me a
I'm giving the
liar.
Quran. I'm going to get the Quran.
I gave you a quote.
I'm going to give you the
and
Quran.
no, when
I'm
you
gonna give
use
the
the
Quran.
word liar, that is one of the most serious things you
It
can
doesn't
say
matter.
to
It doesn't
somebody.
matter.
Oh, well, no.
What is more worse is you saying that God is a baby.
So-
That's more
so-
worse.
No,
That's more worse than you're a liar. Anyway,
So
let me go
me
back to it.
saying God is a baby. No, you
Yes,
said
what
God
you
is a
are.
baby.
God-
I 3 times said God
No.
dwelt in a baby. I said it 3
That's just as
times.
bad.
You're
That's just as
lying
bad.
twice.
That's just as bad, to be fair. God, the most
Twice
powerful,
you've
the
lied
all
in the
high,
space of
the
5
most high,
minutes.
The most powerful.
It's no good you
He
going back
dwelt
to
into a
your
baby.
going
The
back
nature
to
of
your
the baby is to
trenches.
weak. The baby of the
Anyway,
is fine.
everybody,
The baby definitely
God,
is.
Jesus loves
Yeah,
this
may Allah
man,
love
and
you.
I hope when you watch this video,
Goodbye.
you'll see I didn't don't lie, and I was invited into the conversation.
Interject.
Great.
You can't have a talk with this guy.
Chris, here we go. Yeah.